little bit of money we had, and usually was to be able to pay the money for me to be able to play baseball and stuff. The only place I'd ever been up until that age was Omaha, Nebraska for a baseball trip. I had to drive there. It was awful. It was brutal. So I've been with Vector. I'd never been to Vegas. I go to Vegas so much now that it doesn't even count as a trip anymore. You know, it's what it is. It's crazy. Travel schedule this year, it's kind of nuts. I'll share with you later. Let me just say, it's pretty sweet working here. And the reason I share that with you, the reason I say that, is because you can take that dream of whatever it is in Vector, regardless if it's an amazing trip, a certain amount of income, and you can break it down to what you have to do the second you leave right now to be able to accomplish that. Did you realize that? That's pretty cool. I'm going to give you a Vegas example. You can write, I would write these down. At least if you get this nugget, it's worth you listening to me jabber up here for a while. Okay? So check this out. You guys know how much time is left in the summer? 10 weeks. There's 10 weeks left. Do you know how much you have to settle to go to Vegas? $10,000. Exactly right. Watch the Vector map. Follow me here. Ready? So $10,000 over 10 weeks is $1,000. Does anybody remember the company average order about? About 250. So if you take 1,000 and you divide that by the average sale, well, that means you got to get about 4 orders a week. Well, if you're not very good and you don't really listen to what your manager tells you, you're still going to make a sale half the time. So if you have to get 4 orders and you make sales half the time, that means you got to do about 8 appointments. Does anybody know how many phone calls it takes to get them to demo? About 5, sometimes 10. So 8 appointments times 5 phone calls per, that's 40 phone calls a week. So now, do you see what you're focused on? Is it 1,000 CPO? It's 40 phone calls a week. And that leads me to the third key to actually accomplishing what you want, guys. And that's commit to the work, not to the results. And this is what I want to talk to you about. This is where the magic happens. So many times we're excited about the goal, but not what it takes. Write this down. Everyone wants to be successful until they see what success takes. I'm sure you guys have all heard of John Berghoff before. Yeah, right? The guy sold over 70 grand. He used to go into Dan Cassetta's office, and Dan Cassetta used to make him sweat. He used to make him stand, and he'd do the countdown for him, and John would be shaking because he was so committed to his goals and into the process. He ended up being short on that last day, though. He sold over $4,000 in cash right before the conference. I heard that story from my district manager, not from Dan. Think about Taylor and her gnarly order, and all the other crazy stories. Think about all the amazing stories you hear. They happened because the person persisted until. They were committed to doing the work. I started getting chills up here when Taylor was giving her keys at the end, and she was like, forget about the CPO, forget about this, focus on the results, focus on making the calls. I was like, girl, how long have you been around for? That was pretty good. There was a lot of wisdom in that, and that was awesome. I asked Jameson Jones earlier, I was like, tell me why committing to the work is more important than committing to the results. He's like, man, I got 2 kids at home. He's like, I got a wife. He's like, what do you think I'm going to do when it gets tough? Quit? No, I'm not feeding you today. I'm over it. It's not going to happen. I love it. The things that Vector is helping. Kiyomi, you can thank yourself you get fed every day because of Vector. It's great. I believe there's 2 types of people when it comes to, facing a challenge and getting, put in that situation. One person blames their results and the other person takes responsibility. And when you're committed to the process, you take responsibility. And so here's your main key, guys. We talked about setting specific goals. We talked about breaking them down to actionable steps. And we said the most important thing was committing to the work, not the results. I'm going to shift it a little bit here. And what you really need to focus on is your system, not your goals. And it's going to sound kind of weird considering we're talking about goals here. Because goals, in the end, they can actually deter you from what you're trying to reach, which is your goal. Wait, what? Your goal can help you prevent you from getting to your goal? It is, and I'm going to share why. Goals reduce happiness, and the reason why is because all your happiness is dependent on that goal. Don't focus on that. Focus on your work. Focus on the system. The second reason why focusing only on the goal and not the work is counterproductive is because it prevents long-term results. Think about a person that trains for a half marathon. In vector, not so many people that go for big things. Anybody ever train for a marathon or a long race or something like that? Right? And the thing is, when you train for that, don't you train your butt off like every day? Do you work hard or whatever your system is that you put in place? But why are you doing that? You're doing it to complete the race. But what happens when you complete the race? Then it's kind of over and you don't do anything. Versus someone who says, I have a system in place and my system is to work out. It's to be, in shape. It's to live a healthy lifestyle. That person is more committed to working out for 3 to 4 days a week and just focusing on that system versus I got to complete a race. So goals can be counterproductive if you're only focused on the end result. And the third reason why it's important to have a system versus just focusing on your goal is goals suggest that you can have control over things you don't. That $30,000 order, I'm sorry, but can you control that? But what you can do is put yourself in a position to have opportunities like that come your way. And by focusing on a system and doing what you're supposed to do to hit your schedule, that's how you get there. And so to wrap up, here's what I'd love you to do, guys. Is fall in love with systems. None of this is to say that goals are useless. What it's saying is goals are good for planning your progress, but systems and focusing on your work are good for actually making progress. I'll say it again. Goals are useful for planning your progress. Systems are useful for actually making progress. Goals provide direction and even push you forward in the short term. But a few well-designed systems, your phone time, things like that, those will always win out. So in the end, guys, commit to the process. Create the systems that you know will create your success and focus on those. Enjoy your process. Don't worry about the end result. Just get the most and realize everything you're gaining for putting yourself through that. So guys, design your systems, have fun doing it, and you'll be the one taking the trophy at Sc2. So I can't wait to see you guys all there. Have a great rest of the conference, and let me know if you need anything else.